Hey up guys, that's man back at it again for another Horizons review. Now this is the finale of the Rico and Roy set off arc, so if you guys like the video, make sure you subscribe for the future arc of Horizons coming up, and more reviews like this. Alright, let's get right into the review. Alright, so picking up last week, it was a good episode, but it was a lot of more exposition than action, and just a lot of sitting around and just walking around, so didn't really enjoy it as much as I did this episode, which I really like, besides one little aspect, and it's the pacing. This arc had a lot to wrap up in this episode alone, with all the setup from last week, like the attack of the explorers, more explorer admins showing up, and just explanations from Rico's grandmother about Lucius and Terapagos. But this episode gets it done with quickly, gives the time to stuff that needs it, for example, Amithio and Fury, and rushes through stuff which I would have liked to see more of, like Rico and Roy finally getting the battle of Konya and Zur, because they've just been getting interrupted every time or one-shotted off screen. It's actually getting annoying, especially later on in this episode, which I'll get into because right now. So basically, after the explorers attack the castle, Rico, Roy, and Fried begin to run off, while Rico's grandmother distracts them and then runs off herself to go get her Lucius books and his belt buckle that we'll see Rico use in future episodes that carries all the ancient Pokeballs. But yeah, basically this leads to Amithio and his group running in, trying to trap the Volt Tackler. So Fried and Amithio finally finish their duel. This battle has been divided into 6 parts, and it's to the point where they literally are talking smack during the battle, and it's legit funny. Like, Fried is like getting whooped at one point, and Amithio's like, "Oh, no comments, I see." And then Fried's just trying to focus on the battle. But this battle was really good. I loved seeing Fried trying to create strategies, but with the decaying castle around them, to use those parts to hit it from afar, after learning about what happens with his up-close attacks during the battle in the mines, which really good use of old battles, and just Fried and Amithio have battled each other so much that they're starting to work around each other and know what their game strategies is. But there's one thing Amithio doesn't know. Fried terastallizes into Dark Terra and just defeats Scarlet. Now, there are 2 things that annoy me about this. First off, it's literally confirmed in the games that you can't Terra unless there are Terra shards in an area. Like, you cannot Terra outside Paldea, with the only exceptions being Blueberry Academy, which we see Terra shards in the trailer, but we don't know fully why Blueberry Academy can terastallize. And Kitakami, which has the crystal pool with all this Terra energy in it. The only reasonable reason is that Terapagos was in the vicinity, but Fried had no idea that Terapagos was going to be what activated his Terra Crystal. I doubt he had any knowledge to put that 2 and 2 together and somehow perform it. Another thing, say the anime's rules are different and you can Terra anywhere. Why hasn't Fried done this before? Fried could have literally beaten Amithio. How many times have he fought Amithio? 6? And Amithio's almost beaten him, most of the times. You could have easily pulled out Terra Charizard and just taken out Amithio his entire time. Why didn't you? Besides that, incredible battle that I'm happy to see finally conclude, and hopefully they don't start another 5-part unending battle when the explorers begin their counterattacks to the Volt Tacklers in the upcoming arcs. This leads to Zur and Konya trapping Rico and Roy, and they basically get walked on. Rico one-shots Konya, and Zur almost gets one-shot before the other 2 admins interrupt their battle. Yeah, Zur and Konya are so useless. I'm sorry. Why is Amithio the only admin to have sidekicks, and why are they doing really nothing? They should be dog-walking on Rico and Roy. Golduck is a fully evolved Pokemon that can easily fight Sprigatito, while Zur literally has the type advantage, which is the craziest part, and still loses. But yeah, speaking of the 2 other admirals, we see Coral and her Glalie, and Onyx and his Garganicle wreak havoc among the castle, weakening all the Pokemon Assault here, to the point where both Konya and Zur are scared and get the heck out of it immediately when they sense their presence. And it's shown. They're both strong and even insane, as we see Coral basically go ballistic the second the rising Volcappers arrive to save Liko, Roy, Freed, and Diana. I also like this scene where Pikachu comes down from the sky and just begins like beating the absolute crap out of both these average Pokemon. And it's set up earlier. And another thing I really like about Freed versus Amithio. Freed was literally just toying with Amithio at the beginning as he's like warning Murdoch of the Explorer attack so they can go help him. I just love Amithio's reaction. It was so funny. But yeah, once Captain Pikachu comes down, we get some incredible animation of it beating down Garganical and Glalie. Pikachu also had a really good Volt Tackle animation. You see, beautiful. Of it running up the wall and just charging at the two Pokemon. Beautiful. Which causes Coral to have us face down with it, which another good detail is her VA is Pikachu's VA, so this was very funny. And then she just goes ballistic and explodes the entire castle. Like, I loved her. She, like, speaks so weird and calls herself in the third person, and I just love it. She gives off strong Toga from My Hero energy, and I just love Toga, so I can't wait to see more of her. And we know we're getting more of all these animals finally working together based off the preview. And I just can't wait to see her fight. I hope she gets like a fight against Rico at one point, and then maybe like she goes insane, blah, 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 her wig falls off, and she's Anne? I don't know where that twist comes from. I don't see it. Maybe relative, but I don't know. I don't really see the Anne Explorer theory and how that works. While speaking of Explorer secrets, we actually learned that Diana knows the Explorers, and she knows that they were once allies of Lucius, which is very interesting to see how long ago this Explorer fights have gone, because we don't know how old Lucius is. I assume very old, since he lived in Paldea's crater, and we know that the first exploration of it was found only a few hundred years ago by Heath. But yeah, who is the Explorers as well, because we do see that the leader Gibeon mentions a wish, and there's a theory around Terapagos' power and all of it being related to wishes. So the fact that one of the final words of this episode is wish definitely is interesting. But yeah, we see Amithio stare off at the Voltacular going away and make another declaration that it's gonna become next time, like the maniacal villain he is. While on the ship, though, Rico does learn more about Lucius, and we learn the final 3 Pokemon. His full team was Black Rayquaza, Arboliva, Galarian Moltres, Lapras, Cleavor, which another thing is, he had a Cleavor. How old is this guy? Because that is ancient Hisui, so interesting to see a Cleavor in the anime, because Cleavor was one of my favorite Legendaris Pokemon. And then his final Pokemon was Entei, which, okay. And we also now get a basically path for the next upcoming arc. Liko, Roy, and the rest of Voltaculars are going to assemble all the Pokemon and reassemble his team. I don't know where they're going to go from there. They're probably going to bring it to Paradise, Area Zero, and then discover the secrets from there. But this means Liko is going to get another Legendary in Entei. By the end of the series, Liko is going to have 4 Legendaries, and that is going to be insane to me. As long as you don't give Roy a Rayquaza. But yeah, overall, I think this episode was a good conclusion to the current arc and a big stepping point for the next arc about Terapagos, Lucian, and all those Pokemon that he owned. I can't wait to see more of them, more of the Explorers, and just more of every character, because I really love this series and I love all the characters in it. I just think that Horizons is just a breath of fresh air. Like, it's different, and all these characters, fun new Pokemon, and just exploring the world. Yeah, but with that, I give this episode a 9 out of 10. All we can do now is stare off into the horizon as Season 1 of Horizons ends. Now, I hope you guys like this video and subscribe for more content like this in the future. S-Man, signing off.